Is America a cause of instability in Africa? The Democratic Republic of the Congo recently experienced an attempted coup, which exposed numerous actors involved in the country's political turmoil. This has led Congo to question who is truly behind the instability. There was involvement of CIA operatives, including 3 Americans. But why would the US be behind all this? Why can't they refrain from interfering in Africa? Let's find out. The Democratic Republic of Congo (DRC) found itself thrust into the global spotlight on a recent Sunday when a brazen coup attempt targeted the government of President Felix Tshisekedi. In a series of audacious attacks, assailants targeted the presidential palace and the residence of a key ally of Tshisekedi, plunging the nation into chaos and uncertainty. Against the backdrop of ongoing political turmoil, the attempted coup raises critical questions about the stability of the DRC and the broader implications for regional and international security. Central to the drama is the involvement of CIA operatives, including 3 Americans, one of whom is the son of exiled opposition figure Christian Malanga. Malanga himself met a tragic end at the hands of Congolese security forces while resisting arrest during the coup attempt. The revelation of American involvement adds a layer of complexity to an already volatile situation, prompting speculation about external interference in Congo's internal affairs and the motives behind such actions. But how did this happen? What's the context? The Democratic Republic of Congo (DRC) has a tumultuous political history deeply intertwined with its colonial past. Colonized by Belgium in the late 19th century, Congo endured decades of exploitation and brutality under colonial rule, with its vast natural resources plundered for the benefit of European powers. The struggle for independence, led by figures such as Patrice Lumumba, culminated in the country's liberation in 1960. However, the legacy of colonialism and the arbitrary borders drawn by European colonizers continue to shape Congo's political landscape, fueling ethnic tensions and divisions that have undermined efforts to build a cohesive and inclusive nation. Following independence, Congo descended into a political turmoil marked by coups, civil wars, and authoritarian rule. The assassination of Patrice Lumumba in 1961 and the subsequent rise of Mobutu Sese Seko to power ushered in a decades-long dictatorship characterized by corruption, repression, and economic mismanagement. Mobutu's regime, supported by Western powers during the Cold War, further entrenched ethnic divisions and marginalized opposition voices, laying the groundwork for future conflicts and instability. The transition to democracy in the Democratic Republic of Congo has been fraught with challenges, including electoral fraud, political violence, and institutional weaknesses. The country's first democratic elections in 2006, following the end of Mobutu's dictatorship and years of conflict, offered hope for a new era of governance and stability. However, allegations of fraud and irregularities marred the electoral process, leading to widespread disillusionment and unrest. Subsequent elections, including those that brought President Felix Tshisekedi to power in 2019, have been similarly contentious, reflecting Congolese society's deep-seated divisions and power struggles. So, how are current policies influenced? The Democratic Republic of Congo (DRC) remains deeply entrenched in a complex political landscape marked by competing interests, shifting alliances, and ongoing power struggles. President Felix Tshisekedi, who assumed office in January 2019, inherited a country fraught with deep-seated political and social challenges. Tshisekedi is the son of the late Etienne Tshisekedi, a longtime opposition leader who played a significant role in the country's push for democratic governance. Felix Tshisekedi's ascension to the presidency marked a historic moment as it was the first peaceful transfer of power in the DRC since its independence from Belgium in 1960. Tshisekedi won the 2018 presidential election amidst allegations of electoral fraud and manipulation. His victory was controversial, with many observers and opponents claiming that the results were rigged in his favor as part of a political deal with outgoing President Joseph Kabila. Kabila, who had been in power since 2001, agreed to step down, but ensured that his influence would persist through his political coalition, the Common Front for Congo (FCC). Tshisekedi's initial governance was defined by a coalition government formed between his party, the Union for Democracy and Social Progress (UDPS), and Kabila's FCC. This uneasy alliance was marred by constant infighting and power struggles, significantly hampered Tshisekedi's ability to implement reforms. The FCC's control over key ministries and the legislature posed a substantial obstacle to Tshisekedi's agenda of change and reconciliation. Despite these challenges, Tshisekedi made several attempts to assert his authority. In December 2020, he announced the dissolution of the coalition government, leading to the formation of a new political alliance called the Sacred Union of the Nation. This realignment aimed to consolidate his power base and reduce the FCC's grip on the government. Nevertheless, the political environment remained volatile, with vested interests and powerful elites resisting efforts to alter the status quo. The recent coup attempt targeting Tshisekedi's government underscores the ongoing fragility of Congo's democracy. In March 2024, a faction within the military reportedly attempted to seize power, reflecting deep-seated divisions within the security forces and broader society. This incident highlighted the enduring legacy of political instability that has plagued the DRC for decades. The coup attempt also underscored the precarious nature of Tshisekedi's hold on power. Despite efforts to build a more inclusive government, the persistent influence of former President Kabila and his allies continues to pose significant challenges. The military's involvement in the coup attempt suggests that elements within the armed forces are dissatisfied with the current administration, possibly due to unmet expectations or perceived threats to their interests. The DRC's political landscape is heavily influenced by its history of conflict, corruption, and governance issues. The country has experienced multiple coups, civil wars, and regional conflicts, all of which have left a lasting impact on its political institutions and societal fabric. The legacy of these turbulent years is evident in the deep mistrust between different political factions and the pervasive influence of powerful elites who benefit from maintaining the status quo. Tshisekedi's administration faces a daunting task in navigating the complex web of interests and alliances that define Congolese politics. Addressing the underlying causes of political instability, such as corruption, weak institutions, and economic disparities, will be crucial to achieving meaningful reform and stabilization. Building trust among various political and social groups, ensuring fair and transparent governance, and promoting national reconciliation will be essential steps in moving the DRC towards a more stable and prosperous future. But why did this coup happen? The failed coup attempt in the Democratic Republic of Congo (DRC) on Sunday was driven by a complex interplay of political, social, and economic factors. Understanding why the coup happened requires an exploration of the underlying issues that have plagued Congo's political landscape and fueled discontent among various factions. Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. One of the primary reasons for the coup attempt was the ongoing political instability and power struggles within the Congolese government. President Felix Tshisekedi's government has faced significant challenges maintaining a stable coalition. The ruling party's internal crisis over the postponed election for the leadership of parliament exacerbated existing tensions. The power struggle within the party created an environment ripe for political opportunism, with various factions vying for control and influence. Widespread dissatisfaction with governance under President Tshisekedi also played a crucial role in the coup attempt. Despite promising change and reform, Tshisekedi's government has struggled to deliver tangible improvements in the lives of ordinary Congolese citizens. Corruption, economic mismanagement, and lack of basic services have fueled public discontent. The perception that the government is unable or unwilling to address these issues has eroded confidence in Tshisekedi's leadership. Ethnic and regional tensions have long been a source of conflict in Congo, and the coup plotters exploited these divisions. The country's vast ethnic diversity, historical grievances, and resource competition have created a volatile political environment. Factions within the military and political elite often align along ethnic lines, leading to further fragmentation and rivalry. The coup attempt can be seen as an expression of these deep-seated tensions and a bid by certain groups to assert their dominance. The alleged involvement of external actors, including CIA operatives, adds another layer of complexity to the coup attempt. Historical patterns of foreign intervention in Congo's politics have often been driven by strategic interests and the desire to control the country's vast natural resources. The involvement of 3 Americans, including the son of an exiled opposition figure, suggests that external forces may have played a role in orchestrating or supporting the coup attempt. This external influence further complicates Congo's political landscape and raises questions about the motivations behind the coup. Congo's economic hardships and social unrest also contributed to the conditions that led to the coup attempt. The country's economy, heavily reliant on mining and natural resources, has struggled with fluctuations in global commodity prices, corruption, and mismanagement. High unemployment, poverty, and lack of infrastructure have exacerbated social tensions. The coup plotters likely sought to capitalize on this widespread discontent to garner support for their actions and challenge the government's authority. The involvement of Christian Malanga, an exiled opposition figure, and his son in the coup attempt highlights the role of opposition figures in fueling political instability. Malanga's declaration of Tshisekedi as out and his threats against the government, broadcasted in a live-stream video, demonstrate the extent to which opposition leaders are willing to challenge the status quo. The assassination of Malanga at the presidential palace while resisting arrest underscores the high stakes and the intensity of the political rivalry in Congo. Was the U.S. behind this coup? Allegations have surfaced suggesting possible involvement of American operatives, including those linked to the CIA, but definitive evidence remains elusive. The presence of 3 Americans among the arrested coup plotters, including the son of an exiled opposition figure, Christian Malanga, has raised eyebrows and led to allegations of CIA involvement. Historical precedents exist where the CIA has been implicated in coups and regime changes in various countries, especially during the Cold War. These historical patterns contribute to the plausibility of such allegations, particularly in a region as strategically important as the DRC, which is rich in natural resources. Christian Malanga, a prominent opposition figure exiled from Congo, had been vocally critical of President Felix Tshisekedi's government. His involvement in the coup attempt and subsequent death during a confrontation at the presidential palace lend weight to suspicions of external backing. The fact that his son, an American citizen, was also implicated suggests the possibility of foreign influence. The United States has a long and complex history of involvement in Congo. During the Cold War, the U.S. played a significant role in Congolese politics, most notably supporting the rise of Mobutu Sese Seko after the assassination of Patrice Lumumba, a democratically elected leader with socialist leanings. This historical backdrop informs current suspicions and the perception that the U.S. might again intervene in Congo's political affairs. In the aftermath of the coup attempt, U.S. officials have categorically denied any involvement. Statements from the State Department and other government agencies have emphasized support for democratic governance and stability in Congo. These denials, however, have not entirely dispelled suspicions, particularly given the opaque nature of intelligence operations and the historical record of covert actions. It is essential to consider the potential motives to assess whether the U.S. could have been behind the coup. Strategically, Congo's vast mineral wealth, including significant deposits of cobalt and other critical resources, makes it a country of interest to global powers. Ensuring a favorable government in Kinshasa could align with U.S. economic and geopolitical interests. However, the risks and international repercussions of being implicated in a coup could outweigh the potential benefits, especially given the global emphasis on democratic norms and human rights. The response from the international community, including neighboring African countries, regional organizations like the African Union (AU), and global powers, has largely condemned the coup attempt and called for stability. The involvement of American citizens has complicated these reactions, with some countries expressing concern over potential foreign interference. These diplomatic dynamics further complicate the narrative and require a careful, evidence-based approach to allegations. Now the question is, how did the Congolese government react to the attempted coup, and what measures did it take to restore order and assert its authority? In the immediate aftermath of the coup attempt, the Congolese government swiftly mobilized security forces to quell the uprising and restore order in the capital city of Kinshasa. President Felix Tshisekedi, though initially silent, reassured the public through government spokespersons that the situation was under control and urged calm and vigilance. Security forces were deployed to key locations, including the presidential palace and government buildings, to prevent further incursions by the coup plotters. Armored vehicles patrolled the streets, and checkpoints were established to monitor movement and secure sensitive areas. The government's decisive response helped to contain the unrest and restore a semblance of normalcy to the capital, albeit amid lingering questions about the underlying grievances driving the coup attempt. How did the international community react to the failed coup attempt in Congo? The failed coup attempt in Congo elicited various responses from the international community. Leaders and organizations expressed concern and condemnation at the brazen attack on the country's sovereignty and democratic governance. Statements of solidarity poured in from neighboring African countries, regional organizations, and global powers, reaffirming their commitment to upholding the principles of democracy, rule of law, and respect for human rights. The African Union (AU) and the Southern African Development Community (SADC) issued statements condemning the coup attempt and calling for a return to constitutional order and the rule of law in Congo. Meanwhile, the United Nations Security Council (UNSC) convened an emergency session to discuss the situation and explore potential measures to support Congo's democratic transition and stability. While no concrete actions were taken, the UNSC's statement underscored the international community's concerns about the attempted coup and its regional security and stability implications. The failed coup attempt in Congo has significant implications for regional stability and security, raising concerns about the potential for violence and conflict to spill over into neighboring countries. With Congo serving as a linchpin of stability in Central Africa, any destabilizing events in the country can potentially reverberate across the region, exacerbating existing tensions and conflicts. Moreover, the involvement of external actors, including CIA operatives allegedly linked to the coup attempt, threatens to deepen mistrust and hatred among neighboring countries, potentially fueling proxy conflicts and exacerbating regional rivalries. As Congo grapples with the aftermath of the failed coup attempt, regional and international stakeholders must support efforts to strengthen democratic governance, promote reconciliation, and address the root causes of political instability and conflict in the country. Through collective action and solidarity, Congo and its neighbors can only build a more stable, prosperous, and peaceful future for all. Now, the question is how this failed coup might shape the country's future and regional stability. The failed coup attempt in the Democratic Republic of Congo (DRC) has sent shockwaves through the region and the international community, raising pressing questions about its geopolitical ramifications and the outlook for stability and governance in the country. As the dust settles on the tumultuous events, it becomes imperative to explore the broader implications of the coup attempt and examine its potential impact on Congo's internal dynamics, regional alliances, and global perceptions of interventionism. The failed coup attempt represents a significant setback for President Felix Tshisekedi's government, raising serious questions about the country's internal stability and governance. While the swift response of Congolese security forces helped to quell the uprising and restore order in the capital city of Kinshasa, the underlying grievances and political tensions that gave rise to the coup attempt remain unresolved. Tshisekedi's fragile coalition government, cobbled together from disparate political factions with competing interests and agendas, has struggled to implement meaningful reforms and address the country's deep-seated challenges. The postponement of parliamentary elections and the outbreak of violence between rival factions within Tshisekedi's ruling party have further eroded public confidence in the government's ability to deliver on its promises of change and reconciliation. Moreover, the involvement of external actors, including CIA operatives allegedly linked to the coup attempt, highlights the complexity of Congo's political landscape and the challenges of navigating competing interests and agendas. As Congo seeks to chart a path towards stability and development, it must confront the legacy of external interference and assert its sovereignty and independence in the face of external pressures and interventions. What implications does the failed coup attempt in Congo have for regional alliances, and how will it impact peace and stability across the continent? The failed coup attempt in Congo has significant implications for regional alliances and geopolitical dynamics in Africa, with potential repercussions for peace and stability across the continent. Congo's strategic location in Central Africa its vast natural resources, and its historical ties to regional powers make it a key player in its geopolitics, with competing interests vying for influence and control. The involvement of external actors, including CIA operatives allegedly linked to the coup attempt, has heightened tensions and suspicions among neighboring countries and regional blocs, exacerbating existing rivalries and conflicts. Moreover, the specter of foreign interference and intervention threatens to undermine efforts to promote regional integration and cooperation, potentially fueling proxy conflicts and exacerbating regional instability. At the same time, the failed coup attempt has highlighted the need for greater regional cooperation and solidarity in addressing the root causes of political instability and conflict in Congo and the wider African continent. Regional organizations such as the African Union (AU) and the Southern African Development Community (SADC) are critical in supporting efforts to strengthen democratic governance, promote reconciliation, and address the underlying grievances driving political unrest. The alleged involvement of CIA operatives in the failed coup attempt in Congo has raised serious questions about the role of the United States in African geopolitics and the broader implications for U.S.-Africa relations. While the CIA has neither confirmed nor denied its involvement in the coup plot, the circumstantial evidence and historical precedent suggest a pattern of covert intervention in African politics aimed at advancing U.S. strategic interests in the region. The alleged CIA involvement in the coup attempt underscores the challenges of navigating the complex terrain of African geopolitics and the risks of over-reliance on covert operations and military interventions to achieve policy objectives. Moreover, it raises concerns about the potential blowback and unintended consequences of such actions, including undermining democratic governance, fueling instability, and exacerbating regional tensions. As the investigation into the failed coup attempt continues, the United States and its African partners need to engage in frank and constructive dialogue about the principles of sovereignty, non-interference, and respect for democratic norms and institutions. Through transparent and accountable governance, mutual respect, and cooperation, Africa and its international partners can build a more stable, prosperous, and peaceful future for all. Do you think Africa must be cautious of America? Why are they still involved? Why can't the US leave Africa alone? Let us know in the comment section. Should Africa first find a way to eliminate America and then fix the regional political issues? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If so, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.